What if the person sleeping in a freezing car on a dark street was about to become one of the most famous humans alive? Not fiction, not a movie plot. This is the raw, unspoken truth behind 10 of Hollywood's biggest names. Before the Oscars, before the mansions, before the millions, they had nothing. Welcome back to Forgotten Celebrities, where we tell the stories Hollywood buries. Today, 10 celebrities who secretly slept in their cars before becoming millionaires. Stay till the end. Number 1 will hit you differently. Number 1, Jim Carrey. At just 15 years old, Jim Carrey's family lost everything they had. No house, no savings, no plan. The entire family packed whatever they could and moved into a Volkswagen van. And that van became their home. Think about that. A teenager sleeping in a vehicle on the cold streets of Canada while other kids his age were worrying about homework. But even in that van, Jim was performing, rehearsing, writing jokes, refusing to let the situation define him. He carried a personal check in his wallet, made out to himself for $10 million, and stared at it every single day as a reminder of where he was going. Years later, he signed a real check for $20 million for a single film. From a freezing van on a dark street to the highest paid comedian on the planet. Jim Carrey didn't just dream big. He lived like the dream was already real, even when reality said otherwise. Number 2, Chris Pratt. Before Star-Lord, before Marvel, before the blockbusters and the magazine covers, Chris Pratt was just a broke kid living in a van in Maui, Hawaii. He had no real plan, no savings. He was picking up whatever shifts he could, waiting tables, surviving on tips, and sleeping in his van on the beach. And here's the thing. He has said in interviews that those were actually some of the freest, most peaceful days of his life. No pressure, no expectations. Just the ocean, the sky, and time. But life had other plans. One day, a film director spotted him completely by chance and offered him his first acting role on the spot, out of nowhere. That one random encounter changed everything. From a beach van in Maui with nothing to his name, to Guardians of the Galaxy, Jurassic World, and a global fan base of millions. Chris Pratt's story is a reminder. Sometimes you don't find your break finds you. Number 3, Halle Berry. When Halle Berry left home and moved to New York City to pursue acting, her mother made a decision that most people would consider cruel. She cut her off completely. No financial support, no safety net, nothing. But her mother believed that real strength only grows when you have no other choice. So, Halle Berry, the woman who would one day become the first black woman in history to win the Academy Award for Best Actress, spent real time in a homeless shelter in New York City. She skipped meals. She slept wherever she could find space. She had days where she didn't know what tomorrow looked like. But she never called home asking for rescue, and she never quit. She said years later that living through that period gave her a kind of unshakable inner strength, something that no amount of money or fame could ever replicate. When she finally held that Oscar, it wasn't just an award. It was the proof of everything she had silently survived. Number 4, Jennifer Lopez. Jenny from the Block wasn't just a song title. It was her actual lived reality. When Jennifer Lopez decided she was going to pursue entertainment, her family didn't back her. There were arguments, tension, and eventually, she left home with very little to fall back on. With no stable place to stay, she slept on the floors of dance studios after rehearsals. She crashed on friends' couches for weeks at a time. There were nights she spent in the lobby of the very building where she trained, because she had nowhere else to go. No bed, no safety net, just raw talent, relentless discipline, and a will that refused to break. She kept training, she kept auditioning, she kept showing up, day after day, even when nothing was working. Today, Jennifer Lopez is worth over $400 million. She built that from a studio floor, with nothing but belief in herself and the work she was willing to put in. Number 5, Sylvester Stallone. This story is one of the most well-known in Hollywood, and it never gets old. Sylvester Stallone was so broke, so desperate, that he made a decision that broke his own heart. He sold his dog, his closest companion, for $25 outside a convenience store just so he could buy food and survive another day. $25 for his best friend. Just days after that, he sat down and wrote the entire script for Rocky in a single sitting. About 20 hours straight. It was raw. It was personal. It was him. Studios loved it. They offered him $300,000 for the rights, which was life-changing money. But there was one condition. He could not play the lead role. Stallone said no. They raised the offer. He kept saying no. Eventually, they gave him $35,000 and the starring role. The first thing he did with that money, he went back to find the man who had bought his dog and offered him $3,000 to get him back. That's not just a comeback story. That's character. Number 6, Charlie Chaplin. Long before anyone knew his name, Charlie Chaplin was completely invisible to the world. Born in London in the late 1800s into crushing poverty, Chaplin's early life was filled with workhouses, cold streets, and hunger. His mother struggled with mental illness. There was no stability, no comfort, just survival, day after day. He spent parts of his childhood essentially homeless, begging, scraping, disappearing into a city that had no interest in noticing him. And yet, from that exact darkness, came one of the most iconic artistic figures in the entire history of human civilization. The Little Tramp, his legendary character, wasn't something he invented sitting comfortably behind a desk. It was lived, it was felt. Every stumble that character made, every hungry look, every moment of quiet dignity in the face of a world that didn't care. Chaplin had already lived all of it. He didn't escape his poverty. He turned it into timeless art that still makes people laugh and cry more than a century later. Number 7, Leonardo DiCaprio. Leonardo DiCaprio didn't grow up in the Hollywood of glamour and privilege. He grew up in one of the roughest, most forgotten corners of Los Angeles, surrounded by real struggle, real crime, and real hardship. Money was always tight, the neighborhood was harsh, and his father, rather than protecting him from it, made a deliberate choice to walk young Leo through those streets and show him the truth of the world. Every person sleeping on the pavement, every face marked by addiction or despair, every forgotten human being that the city had quietly given up on. His father wanted him to see it, to feel it, to carry it. And Leo did. Years later, audiences watching him on screen couldn't explain why his performances felt so different, so real, so heavy, so lived in. Now you know why. From the broken sidewalks of East Los Angeles to an Academy Award that the entire world agreed was long overdue. Number 8, Keanu Reeves. Keanu Reeves was sleeping in his car on the streets of Los Angeles, grinding through auditions that led nowhere, surviving on almost nothing while trying to make it as an actor. But the hardest part of Keanu's story was never the poverty. It was the grief. He lost his closest friend, River Phoenix, suddenly and tragically. He and his girlfriend later lost their daughter, stillborn, and then, not long after, his girlfriend died in a car accident. 3 of the deepest losses a human being can experience, one after another. And through all of it, Keanu Reeves kept showing up, kept working, never collapsed publicly, never asked for sympathy. When The Matrix made him one of the biggest stars in the world, he quietly gave away millions of his earnings to the crew members who built the film behind the scenes, the special effects team, the costume department, without ever making an announcement about it. Keanu Reeves survived rock bottom, and somehow he came out of it kinder than before. Number 9, Demi Moore. Demi Moore's childhood was defined by instability. Her family moved constantly. There was addiction in the home. There was chaos. There was no foundation. By the time she was a teenager, she was essentially navigating life on her own, with no real support system and nowhere solid to land. At 16, she started modeling just to have money for food. There were stretches where stable housing wasn't guaranteed. Real hunger, real fear. The kind that most people never have to experience. But here's what makes her story remarkable. This is the same woman who went on to become one of the highest paid actresses in Hollywood history, at a time when the industry almost never paid women what they were worth. She didn't achieve that by coming from privilege. She achieved it because she had already survived things that would have broken most people. And that survival turned into a kind of strength that the industry could not ignore. Demi Moore's career wasn't given to her. It was built, inch by inch, from nothing. Number 10, Drew Barrymore. Drew Barrymore was a Hollywood star before most kids had lost their baby teeth. She was 7 years old when the world fell in love with her, but by 13, she was in rehab, and by her mid-teens, she had gone to court and been legally emancipated from her parents. A teenager, completely alone, no home base, couch surfing, staying in shelters, figuring out survival in real time with no roadmap. Most people in that situation disappear. The industry moves on, the world forgets. Drew Barrymore did not disappear. She rebuilt herself from zero, and not just as an actress. She became a producer, an entrepreneur, a talk show host, and the founder of a successful beauty brand. She took the most broken version of her story and turned it into a multi-million-dollar legacy. Not by hiding where she came from, but by owning every single part of it. Drew Barrymore understood what it meant to have nothing, and that understanding became her greatest asset. Music swells. 10 names, 10 impossible starting points. 10 reminders that where you begin is not where you're destined to end. The van, the shelter, the studio floor, the car on a cold street. None of it stopped them. The one thing hardship can never take from you is a made-up mind. If this video moved you, like it, share it, and subscribe to Forgotten Celebrities. We'll see you in the next one.